What's up guys, welcome back to a brand new Blender tutorial, and in today's tutorial we're gonna learn how can we put your 3D object into an image in real life just using Blender eevee render engine. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get into the video. So first off, I'm gonna delete this default cube, and I'm just gonna take this camera, and I'm gonna go to these object properties, and I'm gonna change all of these locations to 0, and also the rotation in the Z axis to 0, and the rotation in the X axis to 90. And now I'm just gonna change this the Y axis location to -10, and there we go. We are having our camera set up, like we are having like all placed up. Now let's add like the background which we need. So I'm going to go to the shading tab, and then I'm going to go to the object and world properties, and I'm going to add an image texture. Make sure not an environment texture, it must be image texture. I'm going to connect this to the background, and I'm going to take, and you can like take the image which you want to add your object to. So I'm just going to take it. So now I have taken the image, and if you're lucky you can't really see anything. And if I go to the render view, so if you go to the render view you can't really see anything, but I'm just going to add a texture coordinate, and I'm going to connect this, and I'm going to take this window and connect it to the vector, and I'm just going to go to this camera, and as you can see this is lined up properly. So this is what we want. And now I'm going to change this repeat to clip, so all the others will be like color. So now it is working well. So if I just add a cube, as you can see, you are having like, you get the thing like in front of this. So that is good. Now let's see how, now let's make a shadow catcher for this. So I am going to go to the layout, and I'm going to go to the render view, and I'm going to add a plane, just move it, just like that. I'm going to scale it to the Y axis, there we go. So this is our shadow catcher. Now let's make this a real shadow catcher by adding some shading in eevee. So I'm going to go to the shading tab, let's change the world to object, I'm going to add a new material. I'm going to delete this principal BSDF, and then I'm going to press Shift A and add a diffuse BSDF. And then I'm going to add a shader to our GB node and a color ramp. There you go. So let me just move it right there. We go. And now I'm going to connect this diffuse to shader to RGB, and then that one to the color ramp. So now let's just move these things like that. And now I'm going to add a transparent BSDF. And then I'm going to just duplicate this diffuse BSDF, and now I'm going to add a mixed shader. There you go. And now I'm going to connect this diffuse BSDF to one which is above it, and the transparent to one which is below it. And now I'm going to make this diffuse BSDF's color into a black color, and then I'm going to connect this color run to the factor and the shader to the surface. As you can see, nothing really happens right now. So for like making this as a real shadow catcher, I'm just gonna go to the material properties and just change in the settings opaque into alpha blend. So if you do it, you will get a shadow catcher. As you can see, there is a bit dark color of that. So if you want to change it, you can just take your light, go to your light settings, just change it to sun. And I'm going to make this to 5. And as you can see, our shadow catcher is working perfectly. So if I add a cube, there is that super shadow which we want. That is working pretty good. So now if you want, you can add your things which your 3D objects which you want. In this case, I have already imported a 3D model from Sketchfab, so if you want, I'll give the link for the Sketchfab for the website in the description. So if I go to File, Import, and take the format which you want, which it is, and you can just importing. There we go, and I'm just gonna import it, and it just takes a bit time to load in, and there we go. We are having a car, and we are having the nice shadows which we wanted. There we go. Now I'm gonna rotate it a bit like that. Just gonna move it down. So if you want to perfectly align the shadow catcher and the car, you can just go to the sideways, change it to wireframe mode, and just press 4, and as you can see, it is just above it. So to change that, let's just move it right above this black line. There we go. I guess it is perfectly aligned in all these sides, and as you can see, this side is not aligned, so I'm just gonna move it a bit like that. There we go. So now I am gonna go to the rendered view, and I'm just gonna scale it down and bring it a bit more near to our image. There we go. So now let me just disable these things so you can see the real thing. And as you can see, there is a yellowish thing going on there, which we don't really want because that is kind of not realistic. So if you want to remove it, all you can do is you can change to the void properties, and you can add a mix RGB node and just put it right there. And now I'm gonna add a light path. There we go. And now I'm gonna connect this glossy ray to the factor. And as you can see, that is working perfectly. And then if you want, as you can see, there is not much, right, it's just not looking that good, like not that realistic. So if you want to make it more realistic, you can just go to the render properties and enable ambient occlusion for the shadows and screen space reflections for the reflections and things. And as you can see, that looks pretty good, but there's a problem. You can see this light color, light thing, which we don't really want. That is because of the sun. So if you want to remove it, what you can do is you can take your light source and you can go to that and just make the specular to 0. And as you can see, there's nothing like that. So that is how you do it. Now it's time to render it, and let's render it.
2,000 years later.
So as you can see, that is looking amazing, and that is how you do it. And if you want more videos like this, make sure to subscribe. And that's it, and see you in another video. And until then, bye bye.